Hey guys, today is a Saturday, and I am currently posting a Freaky Friday video on a Saturday. Let me explain. So, I've had a very rough and busy week this week, and I will be posting another video soon or next week. I'm not going to make any promises on what I've been doing this week. I'm doing another Follow Me for the Week video, but I've been too busy to film or edit through any of the footage until today, so we're going to be doing something a little bit different than usual in October. We're not going to be doing a Freaky Friday for this week, but instead we're doing a Spooky Saturday. Thank you for bearing with me. Please watch the rest of this video because I actually worked really hard on it, and there are a lot more components than the other videos that I've done for Freaky Friday. This is also a character that I really love from a movie that is from my childhood and so happens to be the 15th anniversary of this movie this year, which I also did go see. And I also received a wonderful gift from my boyfriend of a Funko Pop of one of the characters in my favorite movie, and that is Coraline. And if you can see, this is a 15th anniversary version of the Y Below That Funko Pop, which is actually my ultimate favorite character from this movie, and my boyfriend was very sweet to get it for me. Anyway, today I will be turning into a different character, not YB, and that character will be...
I want to be with my real mom and dad. I want you to let me go.
Is that any way to talk to your mother?
You aren't my mother.
Apologize at once, Coraline.
No.
I'll give you to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Windows, lock the door. It's late at night and I hear footsteps on the floor. Blood is freezing in my limbs. Well, is it real or is it just October things?
Hey guys, I have already done my braids and put my hair up in the little wig cap. I just wanted to mention that, as you can see, please ignore the fact that I have this huge bandage on top of my ear. Earlier this week, I actually got surgery on my ear, and I am still in the healing process, and I didn't want that to get in the way of me wanting to post for this week for October. So I decided to just say, oh well, and completely just go around the bandage in terms of the look. So please ignore that. I think the look still turned out good, even though there's a bandage. If you recreate these looks, just ignore the bandage and just go over it, and just copy the other side. Anyway, first I wanted to start with the easier look, which is the other mother's look when she's perfect and also still replicating the original mother's look. And in order to do that, I need to use a normal foundation. My makeup, my base is usually just the same. However, I did use a foundation I normally would use, which I can't use right now because I am tanner, to make my complexion look lighter, because her complexion is a lot lighter than my complexion now. So I used my foundation that I normally would use, and I used contour and highlights to emphasize like the shape of my face. I did my makeup basically like normal, so honestly, if you guys recreate this version of the look, definitely you don't need to like do anything crazy. You can honestly just do your usual makeup, except for your nose, which I'm doing right now. Because the other mother, her nose is actually straight to a point. And if you look at the original mother's nose, you'll notice that her nose is actually straight to a point, but not straight. It's crooked like this. So I think this is like a really perfect example of how the other mother is trying to emulate a more perfect version of the world that Coraline is originally from by creating features on her own face to be perfect that she doesn't consider the original mother to have, which is her nose. So that's why this part is very important to incorporate in the look, which I did. And I just used contour to just make my nose look like a point and also like fade it out a little bit so it looks like it's not like just lines, and also used highlights to emphasize like how it's there. And that's what I'm doing right now. This character is one that I really love because as someone who has a lot of issues with my parents and has been through a lot with my own mother, this movie like kind of hit a really soft spot in my heart because I realized that yes, the things that I'm going through right now, or I was going through at the time, they bother me a lot, but if I did have another mother, it's not always better. Um, there are a lot of things that I would change personally still. But in life, I think that I've learned to appreciate, even though there are a lot of things I would change. I would never change or trade out my life for a different life, if that makes sense. And that really resonated with me. Anyway, right now, in terms of the makeup, I am doing the eyebrows. I already did one eyebrow, as you can see, and the eyebrow is sort of like a swoop. That's all I can really say. It's just a swoop. Um, her eyebrows are not super complex. I got rid of my eyebrows because her eyebrows are really far up on her head and her forehead is way smaller than mine. But it's really just a line. And you can use any black eyeliner to do it. And then I also added shading to make sure that the buttons show up as like coming out, and also like it shows that like underneath her eyebrow it kind of like goes like this backwards so that then it looks like an eye socket. This was really a personal choice. In the actual figures of the movie, she doesn't actually have any eyeshadow or anything like that. I just wanted to emulate that sort of dimension. And then I created little circles for my eyes to be the buttons. And then I filled it in with black. I'll add shading in the details of the buttons later, but for now I was just kind of mapping out the shape. And also I wanted the shape to be perfect so that then like when I close my eyes, it's still a circle, because when you move your eyelids, it like, changes the shape. So I wanted it to look like it when my eyes were closed. Then I started to add highlights underneath the other eyebrow and also around the button to make the button look like it's popping out instead of just being embedded into my face. So that way it looks like it's an actual physical thing on top of my eye. I think this step is also crucial. You don't have to do it, but it is definitely something that I think adds to the effect if you don't decide to do the eyeshadow on top. And then she also has, like, in the cartoon, she has a little line underneath the highlight so that then that shows like she has kind of like a cheek. Because like when I do this, you can see like there's like a form of a line underneath like the eye fat, and that's kind of what that is. And then I added eyeshadow to the other side to add more dimension to the other side so that then the other button is also, you know, creating shadow underneath it. And then that kind of led into a little bit of nose contour with the shadow instead of just cream. I just keep adding more to make it darker. This part's just a lot of tinkering to see what you like, honestly. And I just kept messing with it. And then I added more highlights, but I added highlights to the other button to do the same effect as the other side that I did earlier. And then from there, I wanted the black to set some more before I added more details, so I decided to do the lips. Her lips are just a pure red lipstick. You could honestly use any red lipstick. And her lips are a lot longer than mine this way, but I honestly just didn't want to do that, so I didn't. And then I used a highlighter or a concealer to try to clean up the edges. I realize I've been saying highlighter was supposed to, I should be saying concealer. That's the right word. Yeah, great. So smart. Anyway, this is where I'm starting to add the details of the buttons. I realized the angle that I filmed this at is not the greatest, but I can't really take it back now. But just know I'm creating like the little highlights for the circles that the string goes through for the buttons, and also the rim of the button. This part is honestly, you just follow the image. I'm sorry, the footage is not the greatest. Doing the other one. And I'm done. Look at that.
Hey guys, okay, so this is the finished part 1 of The Other Mother. I just need to put on my wig and I should be good to go, and if I close my eyes it looks way better. But let's do our final transformation into our final form.
Mom? What are you doing here in the middle of the night?
You're just in time for supper, dear.
Okay guys, this is my final form for The Other Mother. The wig is not giving. She is an Amazon wig, and I did the best that I could. Alright. Yeah, anyway, this is my final form for The Other Mother. As you guys can see, her look is not the hardest look in the world. And it's actually basically like simple makeup except for the nose. The nose, she definitely has like the straight point compared to the normal mother. And also I did the button eyes and the red lips and obviously her beauty mark. Now, I'm gonna give you to the count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, this is time for the second look, which is the true form of the Beldam. Sadly, I ran out of white, so I had to buy new white, so I could not use the Glisten Cosmetics white that I normally would use. First off, I needed to put down my eyebrows again, and this is because the original and the actual form of the Beldam that you see at the end of the movie does not have eyebrows. I mean, she does, but like, they're not like bushy, and they don't look like the original Other Mother's looks eyebrows. Anyway, I face painted my whole face with white. This white that I used, it's technically for your body, and it dried really fast and kind of hard that actually later on when I took off the makeup, like I could not wash it with water at first. I like started to like I tried to wipe it off with like makeup remover at first, but it would not come off. And so I like started to peel it, and I like peeled it off of my face like a face mask, but it hurt. Don't do that. I later learned what I needed to do was use warm water and just rub, and it starts to like peel off. Do not just dry pull it off of your face like I did. It hurts. Anyway, I personally would use this again, but honestly, like, to each their own. I do not suggest other people using it because it is not the easiest to take off, but it does dry really well and it's easy to apply eyeshadows on top without worrying it's smudging or getting everywhere, which I did like. But if you are not someone who likes something that's thick on your face, it's not really good for around your eyes or your nose. So I don't really suggest putting it on your face, but I did. Anyway, I just used eyeshadow really to plot out everything on my face. I just drew out all her cracks with eyeshadow and I saw her eye like buttons and also her eyebrows with eyeshadow. Because the paint that I used for my face was drying so easily, it was really easy to apply the eyeshadow on top and keep it pigmented, which I really liked. And this is me just adding the little cracks that I, followed the image for. I definitely liked doing this look more personally. This is definitely not necessarily a beginner like friendly look, in my opinion. I think that this look actually is really hard to do, depending on how intricate you decide to go. But the way that I did it, it was really fun for me because I could like experiment more with shading, and that's like one of my favorite things to do, like in terms of drawing or painting. I love doing shading. And so that's why this look in particular was really fun for me. I would definitely do this look again, to be honest. And the way it turned out was really creepy. But yeah, I kind of drew the cracks over top of my nose instead of creating her nose to go into my nose. I actually made the nose go down to here because in the film, the character actually has a nose that's super pointy and like kind of cuts off, and then it's the bottom of her jaw. Because you know how like skulls look where it's like the top part and then it just kind of drops and then creates the bottom, which is the bottom jaw. Um, I kind of copied that where it's like it blocks off here and then I added a lot of shadow later to make it look like it's above or like past the bottom part, and then the bottom part is a whole separate thing. I also did not want to make my teeth or my mouth the resemblance of hers. Instead, I kind of just drew one on top of my actual face and my mouth like just closed because her mouth is a lot more accentuated and bigger than mine, at least in her original form. So I decided to make that more dramatic by just drawing it instead of trying to emulate that with my actual mouth. And this is where I'm having a lot more fun because I'm adding in the shadowing with eyeshadow. I used gray eyeshadow at first to put in like the lighter points, and then to make the darker points darker, I use black eyeshadow on top of that. I like to do that kind of effect where it's like lighter and then darker because that way you can sort of map out and also not be too worried with committing to a specific shadow if you don't like how it looks. But I also added darker shadows towards here, between like towards my nose and towards her nose, because in the image it creates like this dimension to show that like it goes like this, like a nose. And so that's why I made that part closer to it darker. It's basically like contouring your nose, how like you contour the sides of your nose darker to make it look like it has more shape. So I basically did that, but with eyeshadow, and also not to like make like my nose, but her nose into a point like this on top like this, and then it goes down. I don't know if that makes any sense what I'm saying, but I think it makes sense. And you can see what I'm doing. This process took a lot more time, and so I actually sped up this footage by like 800 times speed because this look took me several hours to do. And I committed a lot of time to it because it was definitely something that was really, really fun for me. But yeah, so this is me adding more and more shadow. As you can see, like the center of my face is actually darker because I'm trying to emulate that sort of contouring of her nose. Then I'm doing the other side. And I also added shadow underneath to emphasize the fact that, you know, her nose is farther out than the bottom of her mouth. And then I'm more shading in the bottom area. And then from there, I decided to start filling in the darker points. So the way that I did the eyeshadow first was just to map out, and then now I'm using like a darker liquid eyeliner to put in the thicker cracks so that then it looks like it's more, there's more dimension in the cracks. And also so it pops out more and further than the shading and the shadows. I thought this was a perfect touch because I started to see like the shading and the shadows start to blend with the cracks, which you don't want. You want the cracks to be emphasized more than the shading because the shading is literally shadows. You don't want that to be the same as the cracks. So I went over top of everything with a little bit of black eyeliner, but I didn't line all of the line. I only lined and filled in like the thicker parts of my cracks that I created, so that then there's more dimension in the crack as well. There I go. So what else to say about this part, because it's all I'm really doing here. Oh, I also outlined the bottom of her nose to show that there was like a separation. You know, this is random, but I actually had a question that I asked my best friend the other day, and also asked my boyfriend later on when I went to go watch the 15th anniversary film with him. But I have a question for the public, and please comment down below and answer because I actually genuinely don't know. But for the kid that she stole the eyes from, the Wybie's grandma's sister, did the Beldam have to change her skin color to become her other mother? And is that problematic because is she, because her original form still emulates the other, like the mother of Coraline. So does that mean for the grandma's sister, when she became her original form, was she also like white like a skeleton like this, or was she um a woman of color? Like, is that problematic? Like, I don't know. These are genuine questions. I don't know because like I never thought about it before, but then like when I rewatched the film, also to think about creating this look, I thought about it and then I got confused and then I got concerned because like I mean like if she's like an eldritch character, can she be racist? I don't know. Anyway, this is me recreating her mouth. Her mouth is way more emphasized than mine is. And so this part was kind of fun, but also kind of trippy to me because my mouth was where her teeth, her top teeth were. And it split her top teeth. So it like kind of looked weird to me. I might, if I do this look ever again, do that a little bit differently, but I think it turned out pretty okay. I'm just kind of like rough sketching it with some eyeliner and then using eyeshadow to make shading. Um, yeah, shading her teeth as well. And then I use some liquid black lipstick to fill in a little bit darker, as well as to sort of go over the lips again. And then from there, I also used that and the applicator that comes with the lipstick to fill in the eyes, like the button eyes. I liked this better than using the paint, which I used for the other look, because this dried way faster and also merged with the white a lot better in terms of trying to draw the details. So I definitely liked this choice better, which I might do in the future if I ever have to draw button eyes on my face again, which I will. This is me filling it in. This lipstick I don't use often because I don't often gravitate towards a black lip unless like, the occasion, calls for it. But I actually really like this one. It's like it goes on really smoothly, it dries really fast, but it feels soft, which is nice. And then I also decided to use that same one to fill in the dark areas which her jaw does not exist in. Um, and I avoided my bandage the best that I could. Yeah. And then from there, I anyway, I use the white to make the details in the eyes. I do think that at this point, like it starts to really look like what it's supposed to look like. I think before this point, I was having a lot of concerns and questions of whether or not it would look right because like it's like doing any other type of art or doing anything. Like you kind of have to tweak it until it looks right. And I did a lot of tweaking, but at the end, like in that last clip where I just made that weird face, I confirmed the fact that I actually really liked it. And this is me adding the button details. Even for this look, I think that I did really well in the button details because of the white paint that I used, because it dries so fast and it doesn't like merge in with the black like it did with the other one. Which I do have to say, like Glisten Cosmetics, those paints, like they're really good and pigmented, but they do smear, so it's kind of hard to like get like a bright pigment on top of it without waiting for a super long time for it to dry.
Hey guys, okay, so I think this is the final look. I'm not gonna cover my body because I honestly don't want to rub that off. And now I'm going to put on the wig and I will be back in my final form. Hey guys, this is my final form, as you saw at the beginning. I think I did really well with this look in particular. It's definitely a lot harder than the first look or part 1 of this video. But yeah, I really like how I did it. I really like how it turned out, and this is definitely one of my favorite characters of all time. She's so creepy, she's so scary, and there are a lot of questions that I have about her and a lot of conspiracy theories. I hope you guys come back next week for Freaky Friday. I'm sorry today we did a Spooky Saturday instead of a Freaky Friday. I was a little bit behind schedule and going through a lot of stuff this week, so wasn't able to get it done by Friday. But hopefully you guys come back for Freaky Friday next week. I have another really good one planned next week that I'm really taking out my creative juices to create. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comment down below any thoughts that you had on these looks, or whether or not you really like this character or any characters I've done so far. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, thank you for watching. Good morning, good night, goodbye.